Money, 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 money. Today's topic is we're going to talk about money. Money, money. Okay, I can talk about money. Now, money. What y'all want to know about money? What y'all want to know? Oh, somebody asked about my finances. Well, basically, I make money from doing odd jobs here and there. I also make money when I have a actual steady job income, which I'm still looking for. Because these places won't hire full time and won't give me an actual management position. But that's I also make money from my booth at a moment in time, which anybody could get a booth. Okay, you just go to a place that's considered a consignment store, and you ask them if they got a free space, and if they don't currently have a free space, you tell them, "Well, put me on the waiting list." Well, that's pretty much what I did. So they did have a free space, but only because it's the smallest space in there. You sign a contract, you then put stuff in the booth. Now, if you ever want to leave the booth, you're probably going to have to let them know 30 days in advance. So 1 month in advance if you ever decide to quit. And that's about it. You just put stuff in there. You write your name of your booth, the number of your booth. You tag everything by writing the name of the number of your booth, a little description of the item, and of course, how much you want for the item. It's that simple. They do all the rest. They sell everything for you. You pretty much have to keep it clean, keep it stocked. It's kind of like being a small business owner without the hassle of having to worry about the bills of the utilities and selling it directly yourself. Now you do have to make enough money to pay for that booth each month, or that's going to have to come out of pocket. So there, that's for you, random reviews who wanted to know about the booth thing. Wanted to know about how I guess you wanted to know about how to start a booth or whatever. It's that simple. Now, personally, I would prefer to own a consignment store, but I don't have the money to buy a building. So if I had a building, and if any of y'all people out there in YouTube land got the money and you got the building, you got the money or you got the building, and you want to become partners with me, I would gladly be a partner with you. I mean, you need to be the silent financial partner, and I could be the outspoken partner. Like maybe I don't know, maybe one of you people just won a multi-million-dollar lottery or something, and you want to invest in somebody who you believe could do a job. I'm open for that. You investing that money into me, because I'm going to actually try to do something with it, and more than likely, all your family and friends are going to try to ask you to give them money, and then they're never going to do anything with it. They're probably not even going to pay you, ever try to pay you back, and they're probably not going to even, basically, going to be temporary friends with them type of people. So you don't want a potential friend. You don't want someone who just wants to bum off you and leech you for money. What you want is somebody who's going to take your money and make more money with it. Maybe. At least try. I'll at least attempt to do that. So, just going to throw that out there. If anybody wants to invest in me to help me start my business, if you're in Memphis and you already own a building and you want to just give me the building, or at least let me use the building for free so that it doesn't just be sitting around not doing anything, that's cool too. Or whatever. Or you got a business, you're already running a business, that tries to do stuff that I'm into, like board games or toys, action figures, geek stuff, and you want somebody who will bring their stuff to the table and will bring um, a management to the table and will work in your company and become a partner with you, that's cool too. Now, okay, so I got off tangent about money and started talking about myself a little bit and pitching myself. So let's get on to money. Now, there's millions of ways you can save money. Well, number one way you can save money, there's also millions of potential ways you can make money. They always say you need to have multiple streams of income, which means you need to, if possible, have a full time job, which is a steady stream of income, and then having some other forms of income like investments. Like me, I do the toy shows, I do the booth, I do going around looking for stuff at thrift stores that I can resell, the reselling. And then occasionally during summertime, usually in the summertime, I get jobs doing various different things like landscape, like architectural stuff, you know, helping people do things. At one time, I had a truck, and when I had a truck, I don't have the truck now, but when I had a truck, I made some side cash when someone who didn't have a truck bought a piece of furniture at a thrift store. You can do that. You can be like, I got a truck. I'll drive it to your house, $20 or whatever. Side income, right? Okay. So there's all kinds of ways to figure out and make side income. Okay. So there's that. You can always offer to fix things for people, build things. Basically, I'm what would I consider myself a Jeff of all trades, but it's basically a handyman. Handyman that can do little small jobs here and there for people. You can do that. Anybody can do that. Everybody has some expertise that they know that you need to put it to making some kind of money. Problem is now we have this problem. It's not as bad. COVID came, kind of destroyed all that, where people didn't want people coming to their house. Also, people don't use cash as much anymore, so it kind of hurts the doing things on the side for cash. You kind of have to own a legitimate company now to be able to do stuff like that because people want you to have a legitimate company. I suppose even if you had a legitimate company, you'd have to advertise on something like Angie's or something to do it. Formerly Angie's List. But you could do that to make side cash, side hustles. Actually, probably should start printing some business cards. I really don't want to spend the money to do it, but I guess I'm gonna have to when I get my income tax in. I'll probably buy some business cards so that I can basically say that I'm a Jeff of all trades, carpentry, construction, home remodeling, whatever, and also reseller of board games and geek things, the YouTube channel, etc. YouTube channel is also a form of income. Now, it took me 4 years before I even got monetized, and I still haven't seen a dime from it. But there's money in my AdSense account. It's just not enough to get out yet because they want you to let you get it out at $100 increments. But I got it connected to a bank account, so supposedly when it gets enough money to come out, it should go straight to my bank account, direct deposit or something. Or if not, I'll have to figure out something to do with that again because I don't know if it ever got through correctly, but whatever. But yeah, so you got to find ways to make money, streams of income, have multiple streams of income. I'm trying that, but still, for some reason, I don't make that much. That's why I really would like a full time job to have a steady stream of income, if you understand. Um, Dang, something's in my tooth. Don't you hate it when something's in your tooth? Anyway, now another way to make money is by saving money. Now, when I have a job, a steady stream of income job, I usually put 100 or more dollars in savings every time, and I don't try not to touch my income tax. If I When I get my income tax in, I try not to use any of that money at all. Try not to. So at least half your income tax that you get in should be going to save and be put directly into savings, if not all of it. If you can handle all of it going into there, cool, more power to you. But if you can limit your bills as much as possible, you can save money that way. Also, you can buy the cheaper brands, save money that way. I don't recommend doing that for food because sometimes the cheaper brands of food don't taste as good. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So, but if a food doesn't taste, if the cheaper brand doesn't taste good, don't buy that brand again. I mean, it's at least worth a shot to try it. It's at least worth a shot to try. That's why I shop at thrift stores and don't buy brand new stuff. I buy brand new stuff sometimes, but I limit my brand new purchases. That's why I like clearance or sales. Sometimes I do buy brand new, but usually I don't. And if I get brand new stuff, sometimes I get it in trades at the toy shows or whatever, right? So there's that. Sometimes I buy brand new, which has never been opened, but it's cheaper than buying brand new in like a Walmart, Target, or whatever type deal because I buy it unopened from like a hobby shop or whatever, and it's old, and the prices are cheaper. Like I know a place that has all kinds of Star Trek stuff. So if I wanted Star Trek stuff, I can get like Star Trek figures for like $10 or less in some cases. And Target and Walmart just got these new reissue Star Trek figures, and they're like 15, 20 something dollars right for them. So I'm over here like I can get the originals. I can even get Star Wars. I can even get Star Wars vintage figures cheaper than I can get modern Star Wars figures. If I can get vintage action figures cheaper, then why would I pay big bucks for modern if I can get vintage cheaper? Just saying. So that's another thing. Always find stuff to buy cheaper. Buy it cheaper. Uh, Buy stuff on sale. Buy stuff on clearance. Limit your purchases of spending. Actually, have a thing like me. Um, don't just buy everything that you see. You know, you want it. It's easier from. You can want it. You can think it's cool, but do you really need it? No. So I got a bunch of stuff. It's true. I've spent too much money on some things, but it's which is 100% true. I have overspent on certain items, and I'll admit it. Could I have lived without the item? Yes, 100%. Did I have money, extra money to spend at the time to do it? Yes, I did. So it's okay to spend money if you have the money. If you don't have the money, don't spend the money. So don't get into debt. Don't borrow money to buy stuff. That's a common way to do it. So that's another thing about money. Do not borrow money to buy stuff. That is one of my rules at money things. If you don't have the cash on you to buy it, don't buy it. That could mean also that you have money on your bank card because some people use bank cards. What I'm saying is you don't use credit cards at all. Don't borrow money to buy anything. I had a credit card like a long time ago, and I didn't even use it, and somehow it got racked up that I owed money, that somebody used it. I didn't use it, and ever since then, I ain't had no credit cards because it took a while to get figure that out. And there was at one time I was members of these like book clubs, CD clubs, DVD clubs, whatever they used to have that you went through the mail. Well, you would get in. I eventually paid those off, quit buying stuff from them, and canceled the club memberships because if you didn't watch out, they would have you purchasing certain items automatically. I don't know if they still do those club things or not, but they get you with a bunch of stuff cheap to begin with, and then next thing you know, you're buying a whole bunch of stuff and you're racking up a bill, which requires you to eventually pay off. So the best way to do that is pay off what you owe, stop buying anything else, and cancel your memberships if you're in anything like that, because you really don't need it. Plus, there's a lot of mail, and if they're sending you mail or emails or whatever, and they're trying to talk you into buying stuff, best bet now when I see those things is I don't even join anymore because I'm like, nah, I'm good. So yeah. So other ways to save money. Well, again, like I said, if you can't afford to do it, don't do it. I mean, that's pretty much simple. Uh, Always make sure you pay your basic essential bills first. Um, I only have one real major bill, and my mom pays it. And my mom pays it because, well, she doesn't drive. So I drive her everywhere, and she pays for my phone bill. And sometimes I buy my own gas, and sometimes she pays for the gas. So that's basically why I don't have to pay that bill. Sometimes I pay that bill though myself. So it just depends. And that's about my phone bill and my gas bill. That's the only real bill I have. Now, I don't know if everybody would advocate this or not, but I kind of believe you should stay with your parents until you get married. I mean, I believe that's what the Bible says. It says to cleave to your husband or wife and to leave your father and mother. But the Bible also says to honor your father and mother that your days may be prolonged upon the earth. So I think, biblically speaking, that there is backing for staying at home with your parents and helping them in any way you can, whether that's cooking, cleaning, taking them to places, and doing odd jobs around the house for them. Whatever it is, you should do because as long as you're single, there's no real reason to move out unless your parents kick you out. And if you're being a benefit to your parents, why should you kick it? Now, I also agree though that there comes a time when I guess you should be your own man or woman and maybe move out, but that's not until you've saved up enough money to buy your own place. Again, if you can afford it, do it. But if you can't, well, nothing wrong with living with relatives, parents, friends, family, whatever. Nothing wrong with that if you can't afford it, as long as you're contributing something to your family that you live with. I don't see it's a problem. Me, I contribute the car, the driving. I contribute doing odd jobs around the house. I've gone under the house to put the stuff on the pipes so they wouldn't freeze. I've been on top of the roof to do, well, this is my sister's roof, but still, I've been on top of the roof to patch up patches. Uh, so as long as you contribute things to your family, then you're not leeching off of them, is what I'm trying to suggest here. Um, and I would say, biblically speaking, if you're not married, why move out? I mean, unless, of course, you want to own your own place, then it's fine. Today's society, I guess it would be okay to buy your own place and move out of your family. But, I mean, I would, if I could afford to buy my own place, I would have already done it. I'm saving up for that. That is a goal. Again, yes, you should have goals. That's a good way to make sure that you have money. Uh, if you have goals, then you will put your mind to a way to achieve those goals, and that will help in the money situation. Because if you have a goal that says, hey, also budgets are a good thing. So if you have a goal that says, hey, one day I want to be able to do this, if I do this, it will hinder my progress toward this, so I shouldn't do it. Okay. Now, if you have a budget, like I said earlier about stuff, like I have a budget. Sometimes when I go shopping, say I only have $100, and that's all the money I can spend for the day or the week or whatever. I can't go shopping if I don't have no money, right? So if I don't have any money, I don't go shopping. But if I say I only have $100, then I try to say, okay, I can only buy, maybe I want to go to 10 different stores. I can only buy, if I'm going to buy something from each store, I can only buy at least $10 an item from each store. So I have to have a budget of, say, can't go over $20 at a store, no matter what. The only way I could go over that is if I didn't reduce my stores that I go to, or I didn't buy anything at all from a store that I went. So say I have $100 and I'm planning on going to about 10 different places. If I if I don't find anything at one place, then I can spend that money at the next places I go. Right? Okay. So again, budget. Um, yeah, you gotta have a budget. So if, say, I make only $200 in a month from the booth, my budget again for that whole month would be $200 because that's all I have. And of course, I got to put in 10% for the offering. So there. So now 90% of what you make is your budget. What I'm saying is, if you have a job and you have a steady income coming in, if you're not putting at least a minimum of $100 per paycheck in savings, you're not very good at budgeting there. That's something you should be doing. That's part of budgeting. Is putting money for later. If you don't put at least half your income tax into saving, you're not doing a too good a job. You have to put money in your emergency funds for a rainy day. honestly, people aren't making enough money. We all really need full time jobs, and we all really need to be getting like 50% off of the stuff at work and additional 25% off everywhere because we actually have a job, which means we're contributing to society. Um, and on top of that, we need to be making what I would consider an actual living wage, but that would be full time. No one should have full. No one should work part time except for high school kids, college kids, and I would suggest stay at home parents. Whoever is the stay at home parent could work a part time job as long as they worked while the kids were in school. So, whether that's a single parent or not, stay at home parents. That way they can provide an extra income to the family. But on a side tangent, do women ever actually put the money they earn on their own in the same. No, 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 no. Wait for it. Do women actually put the money they own in the same bank account as the man without having control over that bank account? You want your man, if the man is to be traditionally the head of household, a lot of women want to have a separate account for their money. They don't want to put that money in their man's account. But they still want the man to provide for everything as a traditional man. But they're not putting all their income in his bank account. They should put all their income in his bank account and they shouldn't be allowed to touch his bank account. Because if he's going to be the traditional leader, male role, traditional leader, the male role of the family, and she wants to actually contribute with money, she needs to actually contribute to it. She doesn't need to be trying to be in control of his money and have her own money. She needs to, if she's going to put some of it in her own, I say yes, she should. Because what if the man dies? Yeah, you're going to throw all that in. Yes, but she shouldn't keep all of it. She should put half of the money she makes into her own money and then have her own little budgeting fund that she manages that way. And then the other half should be going into his bank account, which she shouldn't be allowed to touch. Because if she really wants a man to be leader, head of household, he should be in charge of all financial decisions of the household. Because he's the one responsible for paying for the house note, the car note, the insurance. He's the one that typically, because men do this, will work more hours and typically will work a harder job than the woman and thus make more money. And that's why the wage myth is bullshit. Wage gap myth is bullshit because men work more hours, men work harder jobs, and men work more paying jobs, higher paying jobs. So men work higher paying jobs, they work longer hours, more hours, and men also work in general, not always the case, but in general, men have the harder labor intensifying type of jobs in general. Women in general have the easier, less labor intensifying jobs. They have the lower paying jobs because they pick those, and they work less hours because they choose to work less hours. They'd rather hang out with their friends or stay at home with their kids and go. Women actually would prefer to go to the doctor with their kids than men. Men would prefer to be at work. The doctor's like going to be a 2 hour wait. Men would actually prefer to figure out something to do during that 2 hours. We don't like sitting around waiting. We don't like being bored and doing that stuff. Okay, so women will find some will don't mind being with their kids for that time. Men, we'd rather be with our kids teaching them how to play a sports game or something for 2 hours than sitting in the doctor's office for 2 hours. Just going to throw that out there. Anyway, so money, yeah, that's a lot of stuff I've said about money. Um, I don't know exactly if I could say anything else or more about it, but basically, don't buy it just to have it. Uh, Weigh your options on buying something. Um, don't necessarily just because it's new and it just came out. Don't necessarily buy it now. Um, uh, and on that side note, just because it's on sale or on clearance or whatever, that's not really necessarily always a good reason to buy anything either. Anyway, so basically, the main things that you have to buy are gas, shelter, and food. So as long as the stuff that you don't have to buy doesn't harm you from being able to eat, live, and get to work, you can buy it. As long as it also doesn't harm you with having savings, you can buy it. But should you buy it? Not always, because just weigh what you're buying and spending your money on. Anyway, remember God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. Keep on gaming. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Jesus loves you, Jesus God, Jesus Lord, Jesus King.